All right, let me shut the door. And Lena should be in just a few minutes. There she is. Hi,
Hi,
Lena.
Debbie. Hi, Debbie. Hi. I hope you can hear me. I'm using headsets and the mic from the camera, so I
I can
hope
hear
you all
you.
can hear. Oh,
I can hear you.
perfect.
I'm going to pull
Perfect.
up the chat on my phone so I can read the chat
Yeah.
because I can't read it on the computer.
So,
It's too far from me when I'm streaming. I have to lean over and get up close to it. All right, there we go. Hi, Mina. All right, so I have a couple things to show. That I'm going to show the Sennelier liners, and what I bought was a 5-pack on Amazon of basic colors. It did come from Jerry's Artorama is where it came actually from, but I got it through Amazon. And I just got a basic one because the main ones I was interested in was the black and white. It comes in 20 colors, it says.
wow.
They are acrylic. I did use them in the journal yesterday when I was talking to Kathy Berg at her test stream, and I'll show you. I just did some white circles over where I had already previously painted. Um, they are more 3D than like a Posca, and they dry to a very kind of a slick finish. So I would say they're kind of like the Tulip Slick Riders in that sense. Um, I painted just a piece of paper and it's got some marks on it with ink tints. The way that I intend to use them, this is the black one. Here's the tip. It's going to be hard to see. It is, I would say it's close to the size of a stickle opening for stickles. When I put it on the ruler, the tip is 1/16. The opening is less than 1/16. I think the opening is about a 132 for the fraction because of course the plastic is actually wider than the opening of the diameter. Um, if you were to take a pin and stick a pin in it, it has a little wiggle room. So it is a little wider than just like a stick pin as far as the opening goes. I did find my other pin to my glue bottle, so I was very relieved. I'm not going to step on it because that was my fear. Um, Colleen got from Emma some tubes that are very similar, and hers were, can't remember the brand now. They were like a pearl pin. It was a different brand, and I can't remember the brand. But you could do like dots, but what I wanted to do was sort of like free writing scribbles. That was my goal, was to be able to just do or to do like a grid.
I think your tip size is the same as the nozzle
I
size
think it might be two
in
from
this
what
set.
Kathy and I kind of figured.
Yeah. I find when I write with the abstract acrylic, it stays pretty good on the paper. It's not like it's gonna chip off. you know,
Yeah,
over time.
it's not coming off that journal page.
No.
Now, I did push down on it, so some of it's flatter and wider. I have to, because I'm left-handed, I almost have to kind of think about even working backwards
Oh, so you don't smear it?
so I don't
Yeah.
smear it. Yeah. So I mean, the good thing about this versus what Lena has, in my opinion, is it's like a pen. So like you can hold it like a pen.
Yeah. Another good thing is also you have to clean these nozzles. And you know, guys, I'm kind of frugal. So the two giant pea size of paint that you kind of waste from this nozzle tip, it's like eating of my own flesh every time. So I try to push my finger in and squeeze it out and just put it on a journal page. But look how deep this nozzle is.
Yeah, you
Imagine.
could waste a lot of paint, couldn't
Yeah.
you?
So
I'm
that's
gonna
why
I'm gonna
when
put Lena big for a minute because something's going. I want to go see who Bob's talking to. No, that didn't do what I wanted to do. I'm gonna remove myself for a minute and mute. I'll be right back.
okay. Hi everybody. I didn't say hi to so many. Hi Dar and Judy and Dot, Suen, Qin, I think it's pronounced, and Kathy and Mina and Ann Lar. Sorry if I missed someone. Did I miss? Let's see. Elaine. Hi. Well, I got this wooden box. You know, I'm a freak. Wooden boxes of the abstract paints that comes in these um, containers that apparently you're supposed to be able to step on these and they won't explode. So they're like really sturdy, so you can really squeeze. Don't be afraid to really squeeze with manpower when you're using them. They came with nozzles heads that had like different tips, and it's just like piping and icing cakes. Seriously, you need a sturdy hand, and it comes out in lumps if your pressure is not um, the same all the way around. So it's very important before you start piping, I would call it, with these bags that you are like comfortable. You got your contact to the table, and if you can't, I mean, if you need your arm to hover up above the table to use your shoulders to make the circles, you can take your other hand and rest. What I'm talking about is that you have some contact to a surface so that you kind of get um, a sturdy movement. Because in the beginning when I used them, I didn't have my elbow or my arm resting on the table, and then I was just floating in the air and it was uncontrollable. So that's why I really find it necessary to think of it as when you're piping a cake, you would also always have some a place to rest your hands. And when you're done using the nozzle that actually screws on here, I like to use these tools because I don't have so many strength in my fingers. You rinse them out with water, and if you don't, you will be hating life because this heavy body acrylic paint really dries up like nobody's business. And I think it's so hard when it hardens and dries up because it's meant to be written with and make marks with. So the acrylic itself needs some sort of heavy body to be able to rise up and give that 3D effect. But there is a lot of leftover paint in these nozzles when it's done. So I have to admit that sometimes I was thinking about using them, but then I was thinking about the cleanup process and stuff like that. So I'm actually very intrigued about the markers that Debbie got. There is like 27 FL-OC in the marker, and there is, and I have no idea what that is in milliliter, it must be 0.27 that's in the marker, and then 4 full
Yeah,
OC.
that's what
So
I thought about too when I
yeah.
saw that. Um,
Do you have?
now I do think on these you could, you're not gonna have the problem like the whole waist like you have in the tip, because I can see that. But I do think I'm gonna try to get in the practice of taking a pin
Yeah.
and kind of like tapping it down and kind of almost cleaning it out with a pin when I'm done with them before I put them away. Because if this acrylic does dry, it doesn't seem like there's anything. It's not like the fine liner tip. You know how the fine liners have that little pin that goes down in before you put the lid on? If some of you are familiar, they have like a little pin that sticks in the cap. And you know what? Maybe even hot gluing a pin straight in there to go in there wouldn't be a bad idea. If you could get it to go in and still put the lid on.
Yeah.
I don't know if this one would work.
But Debbie, I'm also thinking that I'm kind of comparing what's in these bags with what's in the enamel accents bottles. And so far, and I have really used my enamel accents a lot, I have not had an issue. And I even got like paint that's kind of stuck in the lid, but you can see when I
Yeah, I think you could
squeeze.
clean it out pretty easy, right?
Yeah, oh, I don't know
Push
if you
it
can
back
see,
in.
I can squeeze out paint immediately.
Yeah.
So I think that it doesn't dry up because it's got like a full contact with the top
It
of the
may in
lid.
the top, it may have. And now, the same thing that you said, Lena, is like, especially as I use this, you really want to make sure that the paint is down in the tip
Yeah.
and that you don't have any like air burps. Because you do,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like you do squeeze, but then if you release the pressure, how you'll suck some air up. It reminds me of a tulip slick rider, but a little bit more pin friendly. Because
Yeah.
I have that too. The tulip, somewhere, I have a slick rider in black, but they kind of flow a little fast, those tulip ones. The deco art ones I didn't like at all. I have a couple of those, and I didn't like them whatever.
I never tried the Deco Art brand. I also think it's a little bit hard to imagine what can we paint with these stripes. I'm thinking, of course, like on the background you could do like mandala patterns and it would stand out or make circles.
Yeah.
But
Well, here's the tulip bottle that I have. It has exactly the same size opening. I bet you that's a standard. Uh, it does exactly the same thing. I mean, exactly. So if you have a bunch of tulip slick riders, then it might not be worth investing because this is very duplicate. Now here's the gloss enamels. It says opaque glass riders from Deco Arts, but they're very, see, the liquid came out. Like they might not even be any good anymore. See, it's blowing out.
hi,
That,
Cass. And Lara says that the line it puts out reminds her of the fine liner.
yes, uh-huh.
Mm.
Yeah. I just didn't care for these bottles or the way it came out. It also bled when I used it later in collage. But like there's the red one from Deco Arts. I mean, it's they all three of these kind of do the same thing, plus what Lena's tip does.
Oh,
So
look at the red one. I think you need to replace the cap. I'm just thinking if it gets air
Oh,
and
yeah,
clogs.
it's on crooked. And it has a little, I will say it has a little thing in the top of the cap. There's a little thing that goes, you probably can't see it. There's a
Mhm.
little, like, there's a cap within the cap.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't hit. But it's separated. And I got the white one. I only got the red and the white because I was just trying them.
Mhm. I was reading up on the Cinellia markers. I really like that sentence they wrote about, hey, you can refill this and you don't have to stick to the color of the marker. You can blend your own colors. Ooh.
See, the white one's gooped up. The white one's clogged or something because it's not coming out. So I would probably have to clean the paint's bad. It's clumpy.
Ew.
Looks like cottage cheese.
Maybe some glycerin and water?
Probably the trash.
Probably. Don't let Mary Atelier hear that. You can rescue any art supply.
I don't have time for that. All right, I'm gonna set this aside so it doesn't make a mess.
Okay.
And I'll show you what else I got today. I've been bad, and I will admit I've been super bad at stencil girl.
Oh my god, you are purging those stencils like nobody's business at the moment.
Well, I saw Mary Beth use this one,
Oh.
and I had to have it. I'm gonna put myself on big real quick so that they can see a little better. So these are all 9x12s, except for one, I think. So I got this one, and I just really liked it. And it was new. It wasn't there the last time I shopped. And this time I got 6 of the 9x12. I just went ahead and I got this one, which I thought would be great for like all those botanical type prints that we've been doing.
That's an awesome size for that gel plate.
Well, yeah,
that
it looks life size. I mean, it looks like the real size of the floral. There's some little floral and some leaves in there. Now, they do have this one in another size. And then I got another scribble one. This is a different scribble one than I had, and it's, of course, bigger.
That's yummy. I like the open spaces.
Me
and
too.
The smaller ones.
And then I got this one, which is supposed to be like organic roots. I like that line of circles. I liked this. I like this almost kind of brickwork.
Oh. Good choices, Debbie.
And then I got this one, which I think will be really good for crusty bits.
Yeah, they look like trees.
Yeah, they look like trees to me with buildings in the background. But and even like just using this for small work, but this was something in it would be really neat for like crusty bits. And then the last one, I guess I didn't get any little ones in this one. I got a big map.
Wow.
Because I just like that. Like I like this in like the second layer of crusty bits. So,
Debbie, the last one you got, the map one. That would be fun to use your Cinellia marker to enhance some of the roads or the lakes.
Yeah, and the first one I showed you that was new was from the I Am collection. It's I Am Collage. And the one that looks like a forest says Kilmet Forest. So it's inspired by the artist. And then Organic Roots, Soulful Scribbles, and then Longwood Floral. Now they also some of those were available in the smaller sizes too. But like I said, I've been uber bad on the stencils. But I hadn't bought stencils in a really long time. Like bought them.
Yeah.
I've made my own.
But you make some really good choices.
So let me put us both back on and let's do today's project.
Oh. Hi, Kathy and Joycey and Kimberly.
And hi to everybody who has come in that I haven't said hi. Hi, Kathy Arbor and Kathy Berg and Mina and Kimberly and Kat and Ann, Barbara and Deborah Brown, Barbara Clark, and Judy and Sin, Dot, Elaine. If I missed anybody, I'm so sorry. I'm just scrolling back to see if we missed anything when we were comparing. Yes, I have been watching Mary Beth's videos because I just I just love her stuff.
I like
So
Barbara's
this was
comment.
inspired by Ingrid, and I'm gonna butcher the last name. Let me go get her channel. Well, actually, I'm gonna get the Facebook link from Facebook. I can get that easily, and I'm gonna put the link. It's Dykers, and Kathy knows her. Kathy has had the pleasure of going to her studio and taking classes with her. And we've seen her do some different things. There's the link on what inspired me. And then I'm going to go back to Facebook real quick and I'll show the picture. This is what we saw that inspired us to try what we're going to try. We did not take the class. She does offer. But I think it's just local right now. I think she's going to be doing some online courses. But right now, I think everything's in her studio and with local. But I was like, ooh, I have buttons or beads. I have wire. So that was kind of what inspired it. Now, I went ahead yesterday and put holes in the cover of my journal after I covered it. I just covered it with a jelly print. It's not done. I'm just the first layer of the jelly print. And then I punched holes. I don't have a crocodile, so I had to like do the hammer with the eye, and then I set eyelets in all of the holes.
And I think sore in your arm today. You must be sore on your arm today.
Bob came in and he was like, okay, what are you doing? Are you like, what are you building? And I was like, I'm not building anything. I'm putting holes and stuff. And I had told him I was going to use the drill because my punches last time I tried to use them were not really working, but I found a tip. I mean, it took me an hour to clean my whole studio trying to find the eyelets and then trying to find the tips for the eyelets. Hi, Eileen.
Hi, Eileen.
So I think Lena did a similar thing. If you want to show them what you prepped.
Oh, yeah. I too did the eyelids, but I can see now that I got like an inch between them where Debbie got less. She's got probably.
I don't think it'll matter.
No. And then I digged in my stash to find, because did you notice that Ingrid, she used different sized buttons?
Yeah,
So I actually managed to find some big ones and some smaller ones. So I'm thinking that since I've removed the closure of my folder a bit down, I can actually have like a wide, maybe 3 tiers bottom lace here, and I can't wait to do it.
You could make it narrow where the closure is and then go wider. Then narrow again. Kind of like like a necklace, kind of like. Now, one of the things that she did very simple was she took a wire, bead, wire, bead. There is one of those journal pages just has like gold wire and a row of like black beads.
Oh, that's a good idea. Picture.
when you look at that picture, I looked at it. She had done different things on each page. Like right, and it's gonna right back here. There's a yellow page, and it's hard to see on my camera, but she literally just sewed on one black bead for every hole.
Because I
So
think I got
simple.
beads.
She also did a blanket stitch on one of them.
Oh
I
yeah.
did not do all my buttons the same color. I did. I like hers, but I didn't do mine all the same color.
But I'm thinking because I'm also working on. Can you believe it? I received another mail from Teresa. Oh my god. And it's the beautiful one that the rest of you also have gotten with that beautiful, beautiful
Oh, from
quilt.
Teresa, yeah, that was so
Yes.
pretty.
So I want to thank her for her mail. So I'm actually working. I don't think she's lurking here. I'm working on this
She
tag
may
holder.
not because it's nap time. She'll
Yeah.
watch later. She will watch later if she's not here.
And I pre-punch all the holes here. And for her, I also managed to find different size buttons in red because red is like my favorite color. So,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking I don't know if I should start on this one because it's smaller than the big one. So maybe I'll start on Teresa's and then I can maybe learn how to do the curve on the big one because there's like two
Yeah.
things in
Right.
mine.
Right.
I got a closure and a curve.
All right.
So
Some of my wire choices, and I made my choice, but some of you may have gotten these sets and there were assorted colored wire, but you can buy different colors of wire that I don't remember the name of who sold these, but I know you can probably, and these are the thinner gauge. I wouldn't probably do the heavier gauge wire. What I ended up choosing that I have a lot of was 24 gauge wire. And what I did was I cut a piece that was like 4 times the length because I didn't know how much wire I would need. So I wanted more was better than not enough. Right.
yeah.
So I just went the length of my journal and then some about 4 times so that I would have, and I just kind of stretched it out. So it's like a piece of string. I do
And you
think that you'll have to watch that it's not like kinking while you're working.
yeah.
The other thing that I did is I took a bead. I'm trying to see if I have.
Oh,
I took
that's
a bead
clever.
and I put it through the wire through the bead and then I wrapped it and twisted the wire because I was like, well, wait a minute. I don't really know how she tied it off. She could have just twisted it. You could make a knot like a loop and put a dangle.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of things you could do, but I'm going to start in my top eyelet and I'm going to let that bead sit right there. And that's going to be my kind of stop. I don't know how I plan to finish it on the bottom. I hadn't gotten that far.
I'm gonna hunt for a red bead for Teresa's booklet. Just a second.
Okay, and I'm going to start, I'm going to kind of plan, I'm going to do one row of buttons. And I'm not sure I want them all the same size. I know I want some black ones and some green and yellow. These are all the same size that I had put. I got black paint from somewhere. Oh, something, this container had, I used a container that actually had something on it. I need to wipe a couple of those.
Is it that Sennelier paint marker already traveling across your room?
No, it's something that was in this container that actually was wet, which is crazy because it's been in a container
Yeah,
and
that's
not
kind of
used.
odd. I think I will introduce a little pearl in between every button because then I can use the pearl as a closure and an ending.
So I think I want my first row to all be the same.
Yeah.
Mine is 24 gauge dot.
My question is, do you do it like when you're crocheting, like one row at a time? I
I'm
think,
going to do it that way. I'm going to go
yeah,
all the way down and then I'm going to come back and then come back until and I'm probably do like 3 rows. And then row 2 and 3, I'm going to do assorted sizes, I believe.
that's a good idea.
I thought the first row to be more stable, it might be better.
Yeah.
And it's a
And I,
learning curve, ladies and gentlemen. This is,
yeah,
we don't know what we're doing.
no.
We did not take the class.
My
We
plan
are
is,
just MacGyvering
yeah.
this.
My plan is to secure one, I'll show it with a bigger button, one button with 2 eyelets instead of having one button secured to just one eyelet. Because if I do it with 2 eyelets, I think it will be more sturdy.
Well, and see, my thought was like, I went up through the I attached the button and through the eyelet. Now I'm going to come up through another hole of the button.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking that I'm going to attach a button to a button and then go to the next eyelet. So that the next button is attached in 2 places. It's attached. Actually, I'm going to go through that first eyelet again. I can tell you that right. No, I'm not. I'm not. Again, we're just winging this. So I'm going to go. I went through like I've already was in the wire was already in and I am pulling it taut as I go. I went down through the eyelet, up through the button, down through the eyelet, up through the button. Now I'm going to attach my second button.
This is turning into a drinking game on a Friday night each time we say the word button.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one button down.
And then I'm going to try. I wish my wire didn't have to be so long.
Yeah,
But
me too. Because
you
if
could
you
more.
twist,
You probably could wire to, like use a second wire and use a third. But I didn't want all those. I didn't want to deal with all those prickly wires in the end. Like I didn't want the journal to have wires that poked you.
holy crap! Look, you can actually make a button stand straight out in the air, totally ignoring the gravity. Can you see that? It works.
Yeah, my first one attached really well.
Yeah.
Once you get it through and pulled, the wire holds it.
That actually gives me a positive feeling about this, except that I chose a button, so now my folder won't barely close.
I'm fighting the length of the wire.
Watch out for if it curls too much.
Yeah, because
Because,
then it gets kinks.
yeah, and knots, and if it's a kinks, that's when it gets knots on it, right?
So that green button kind of went, because I attached the 2 buttons, it's trying to go one over the other, which I don't care. I don't mind that. Hi,
Hi,
CB.
hi, CB. Hi, Candy.
This is, okay.
I actually like the layered look of one on top, one on the back.
Yeah, yeah. And then I'm going to come back up through the button again. Now, I don't know if I did pull some buttons that were just had the 2 holes, but you could go through the same hole of a button more than one time with the wire. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I actually think it's making it sturdier, so I
Yeah,
want to
that
go
was my
back.
thought was, and I think I'm going to go back through that eyelet again.
Oh, this is doable, Debbie.
Ingrid is a genius.
She
Just
is.
saying.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
I
I just
liked
love.
going through. I liked attaching it with two loops through the same eyelet
Me too.
because
And I
it.
like when I got the wire on the back of the button and I need to attach the next one. If I want it to lay on top, I can just go through another hole on the button, and then my wire will have um, the perfect start for attaching the next button.
Hi, Sophia. Okay, so
I was surprised how many buttons I had in my stash.
oh, you
Almost
know
like
I have buttons.
embarrassed.
I just took one of the button bags that I had because I actually had gotten rid of almost gotten rid of all the buttons. I had 3 bags left of the assorted buttons.
Yeah.
So I pulled one out and kept it. And I thought, ooh, that was close, you fool. Like you
Yeah.
were almost no buttons. And here you would have, but I had beads. Now you could do this with beads too.
Yeah. Oh, you had to say beads. I totally forgot inserting a pearl. Okay, I'm just gonna ditch that idea.
Yeah, I do like the idea of the going up and down in each one. I think it in the same eyelet. It seems to make it. I want this row to be so sturdy in the first
Me too.
and tight to the journal page because I'm trying to really, as I work, I know it's hard to see. You know what I'm going to try doing? I'm going to try seeing if I put a piece of white paper on the
But
journal page in
but
the opening of the journal if it
but
shows
look
up better on the camera.
but look how you can let go of your work and not worry that it
Yeah,
will
it's not.
disassemble
I
and
thought I
fall
would be
apart.
like afraid like it would go everywhere, but
Yeah,
the
me too.
wire's so. Um, I'm gonna bullnose this paper in here, and I think that'll make it a little easier for y'all to see against the white. I can probably zoom my camera in too. Let me do that.
I have bought mason jars full of old buttons at flea market, CB says. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes they are color coordinated. That's the best. That's how I got my collection of the green buttons. It was in a mason jar. And back then I didn't really know what to use them for, but I just couldn't resist the look of a whole glass mason jar filled with the same colored buttons.
The wire hit my phone. I gotta move my phone. I'm Sophia, I didn't time you out, Sophia, did I? Please tell me I didn't time you out. Something flashed on my screen. You could, but I don't know why you would need to. I mean, you could use embroidery floss. However, it wouldn't stay as well. Like it wouldn't stay as rigid because this wire is gonna keep this rigid. Okay, good, Sophia. The wire had hit the top of my phone, And you know, it's the screen's so stupid sensitive that I was afraid that and I saw something, but I thought I'd inadvertently
It says you
timed you
just made her a mod.
out. Okay, I don't
Joyce,
care if she's a mod. That's what it was. I didn't know I had that power to do that.
with just a wire.
With just the flick of a wire. I've never done that from my phone.
But now when you removed it, it's wireless, so it's probably even better at things with the power.
Well, I've always
off.
had to go in like the settings in the YouTube, I thought, to do the mods.
Yeah.
You know,
Hi,
I've never
Julie.
modded anybody from my phone before that I know of. You heard that I know of.
Yeah.
Well, for a while there, I didn't have like any mods because, well, like Jean was a mod, but she doesn't come and hang out anymore and play. She likes her knitting friends better, apparently.
I think she's lurking. We should
She
have
might
made
be
this.
because you can't really chat and knit. I'm just, and
No.
then Jean, if you are lurking, I love you. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I love you too, Jean. We should have made this skewer album with knitting pens, and then that could have made her come out.
All right. This is something you could definitely probably sit and do while you watch TV.
Oh yeah.
You know, like why you watch. I don't know if it's the greatest thing to like see on stream, like it's riveting TV to watch. But we had all been talking about it, so I kind of thought it was something. Lena and I thought it was. We both wanted to do it. Lena and I both were intrigued by it. Now, Ingrid's first row was not up, down, up, down. Hers were side by side. And I could have done that. I liked the up, down that I got with that first button. So I'm kind of going with that.
I also find that it very quickly gets chunky if you have them laying on top of each other. Because
when I come out my next row, I will probably go in and start tucking in some smaller buttons.
Yeah.
And I have some brighter colors too in that size. Maybe out of screen, sorry. Sometimes I'm fighting I think it will also be easier when the wire is shorter. As the more I use up some of the lengths of this wire, then that should help.
But strangely enough, I'm not scared of poking myself in the eye with the loose end of the wire when you pull the back your neck. I almost said, you know, when you got that long string. So
now when I have crocheted beads, like I've crocheted wire with beads looped in the crochet, and when I did that, I didn't cut my wire. I put a whole bunch of beads on the wire. When you do that, you just put a whole bunch, like you just loop them down here on the spool, and then as you're crocheting, you pull up some beads, and then you crochet some more, and then you pull up some beads.
Wow, that sounds really like a math test right there.
And I don't crochet a lot. Like I'm not a good crocheter, but I could crochet wire because it was loose and irregular. Like I wasn't looking for neat, because I don't do it right. I'm left-handed, and I don't crochet right. I did find all the knitting stuff and the crochet stuff. It fell out of my closet. Remember when I had the forced lesson? All that
uh,
stuff fell out of the bag. I was looking for stuff yesterday, and it fell
oh,
from where I'd stuffed it.
that's actually one of the best thing about looking for things is that on the way you
I
find.
cleaned up. I
Yeah, you.
cleaned up. And part of it is I keep getting stuff, but
I
I'm
know.
not getting rid of stuff. So
And
I
I'm
have
not.
to, like my washi had to move to a new location because it doesn't fit where I kept it. So I now need a different, I don't like, right now it's just dumped in this container.
Wow, you got a lot, Debbie.
Well, I bought
You
that
want
black
to?
and white kit. It's
Yeah.
deceptive. And so and then I got one at Tuesday, one or two at Tuesday morning. So I kind of expanded it like a lot all at
Yeah.
once because I never had hardly any washi.
I got. This is all the washi that I own. It used to
Oh,
be filled, but I use it for my paintings for the borders. So,
oh, see, I
and then
don't use
some
it
of
for
them I
the.
hoard.
I use painter's tape for when I do the borders. I use it. It was more about like using it in the bags.
Oh yeah. But making a project like this when you need like a zillion eyelets makes you feel good because then you really feel that you're using up your
Yeah,
stash.
because they have been like, well, they were buried in a closet because
Oops.
I just don't use them.
Oh,
Now
not
you
in
could just do one row of buttons, and that would be cute too.
It would,
Now
yeah.
she did multiple pages in her journal, and I would think you would want to glue it. I'm doing the cover, so it's thick. If I don't know what her journal was made of, but it looked like it might have been like multiple pages of watercolor paper. It looked like it was thick. Could have been
Yeah.
chipboard.
A pulp paper, like 140 grams thick pulp paper. You know, it's still got that kind of a rough surface, but not totally watercolor rough.
Yeah, it was. It looked like it was many pages glued together. But it looked almost like a chipboard. But it didn't have a lot of pages in the journal, so it could have just been like a chipboard journal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So if I were going
I
to do something inside, I would probably glue pages together because the paper wouldn't handle this pulling
no.
of the wire. You know what I mean? Even with eyelets, because I'm pulling really hard on that. So I'm
I also
about
noticed
1/4
oh your
resin
bag.
paper, Kathy said.
Oh, yours looks awesome, Debbie. I like all the different colors.
Yeah, now I
I
had planned my first row of colors, so and they're all the same size. So I kind of knew.
yeah, that was
And then
smart.
I've got brighter colors in some of this for the second and third row, some other pops. Because I don't know what this is going to be yet.
No,
That's
yeah.
why I went ahead and picked, because normally I don't cover my cup. I don't cover my journals until I'm done. Like it's
No.
the last thing I do because I don't want them to get messy.
Plus, how will they lay and work on if they got a bulky cover?
Yeah, but
Then
now I'm going to work in this with the buttons because I had to,
yeah,
we had to do it. I couldn't
you're
wait.
me either. You're smart that they use the same size buttons, because honestly, I think I'm struggling a bit with the big and the small and the
Because
big.
it doesn't match up as well.
Exactly. But I did notice that Ingrid Dickers enjoys to make waterfall edges on her pages, and then on the picture with the button edge, she used a scallop decorated edge for the next page. So it's like
Yeah,
her buttons are resting on something sturdy, because I kind of imagine that the scallops are punched out from the scrapbook paper that got
she
some.
may have done that to be supportive.
Yeah.
But I just am going to do the cover on the front. I'm not going to do any pages on the inside. I just thought it was a pretty way to do a cover. You know
It
what I mean?
is. I can't believe you almost got rid of all your buttons. That's like the classic crafter's
Yeah, you get, and then
vacuum
you're
to
like,
stand in.
well, I got rid of my sewing machine.
I know.
And then I tried to buy one during COVID
Yeah,
when
I
there
got.
are none. Thank
I
God
got.
Kathy thought of eBay, because Amazon had it, but it was way overpriced. Like it was 200 and something. And it's not,
Wow.
that's not, they're like they're price gouging. And
Yeah.
I ended up getting it for like 175 plus tax. So I had a specific brother that I was looking at. I wanted a lot of decorative stitches, because Jersey makes me
Quilting.
want to stitch on the paper with all her, well, enjoy defeat, with all their snippets and their pockets.
Yeah.
And then Rachel Sowers keeps posting all these gorgeous collage pieces that are stitched together with paper stitched. And I'm like, okay, I need a sewing machine. Bob didn't care. He never cared. He was like, if you need it, get it.
Get it?
But you know what I told him yesterday? I think I'm going to sell that Cameo 3 I got. I already sold the Cameo 1.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
don't
use
use
it. I just don't use it, and it sits here, and I don't like the program. So I got to thinking,
Oh,
I didn't use it, but the cut stencils, does it warrant the space it takes in my
yeah,
studio is
those
what.
machines can really fill up a lot of space.
Yeah, and then
Oops.
it's taken a whole, a half of a table over here. I could put the sewing machine over there and make
You
a
haven't even.
sewing station.
I love it. Our behaviors when we are, trying to
Yeah,
convince ourselves if we need
yeah.
something is always to find where we're gonna put it when we receive it.
And I only
I.
paid $100 for it.
That's so cheap.
I haven't cut a stencil in at least 2 or 3 years.
Wow. Those
The
machines
other
are
one
really
sat
expensive.
there. I just bought this one because it was the number 3 and had wireless capacity,
A
and
lot of
it was
planners,
$100 at the pawn shop.
yeah,
So I was like, how can you pass it up? It's better and it's in $100.
but maybe a
Now
lot
I'm
of
like,
pretty planners use Cameo to cut their own planner stickers.
yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe
but
in
I'm
a
not a planner
community.
girl. I
No,
never cut paper with it.
but maybe in a Facebook community, it would be easy to find
Oh,
planners.
I sold the other one, no problem. I sold it within a couple
Yeah.
days.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll
That's
sell it
fast.
easily. I'll probably make money because I only paid $100, but I got $100 for the Cameo 1.
Wow.
And this one I'll have mats and blades and stuff to put with it.
When my son was in the public school, um, they had these weeks where they are having a theme, and then there was this letter, just the information letter for parents, And it ended up saying like, oh, but if you got any beads or stuff like that, the theater group would really appreciate it. And I only read that line once, knowing that, oh, I ought to donate. So I got rid of so many pearls and beads, and this is
It
what I
would,
got
Kat,
left.
if I learned how to do it, but I don't. Well, I have the mat that you can like make it take a drawing and then turn it into cut files. But I've had that. Gene and I have had that for many years and never calibrated it and never used it.
Oh, those
So,
SVG files.
well, yeah, and I don't like the program. I tried that ink space. That didn't make any sense for me. So I was like, I just real estate is so limited. And I have a big room. I am not complaining, y'all, at all, because I have a big room compared to a lot of people who just have a table. And I'm very lucky to have what I have and the space,
Mm-hmm.
but I want it to function as, and I just keep thinking it's kind of like a camera or technology. The longer it sits at your house being not used,
The
the
less
more
value.
outdated and it loses its value. So
Yeah,
do I
just like
want it to sit, or would I rather just have somebody else give me $100, $200 for it and buy something else?
because I got the Cricut Mini, right? And then I only could utilize it for less than half a year. Then they Cricut ended the Cricut Craft Room support to the software, and then oh
Well,
man, I was so pissed. I had uploaded all my cartridges on the Cricut Mini software in Cricut Room. Um,
yeah.
and yeah, blah blah blah, long rant right there. And then I realized that the only reason I got this great deal on the Cricut Mini was because the seller knew that it's going to be outdated shortly. That really frustrated me. But what I wanted to say was that since the machine was so new and I really take good care of my things, it felt wrong to throw it out. But I knew that there was no software supporting it and you could not use it offline. Just felt like waste.
All right, I'm at the halfway point. Yeah, I never tried to figure it out, Kat. You had to print a calibration sheet, and we didn't every I would we didn't have a printer at the time, and you had to take like a picture with your phone and then print it because it was basically trying to figure out your phone that you were going to use. So every time you would change phone, you would have to recalibrate it.
Oh,
So I don't think Jean ever got hers going either. I don't think.
that's annoying. That keeps you from using it if you
Yeah.
have to install things first.
Yeah. Now John bosses hers around, and we all know that. But I just don't like that silhouette program. Somehow it won't work. It did in the beginning, but I don't like the updated version or something. Or my computer and that program don't like each other.
How awful, Lena. I would have been really annoyed. Yes, I really was, Joan. But then again, it's on me because I'm buying an American product, so
You're taking a risk
I'm
then,
taking a
right?
risk. Yeah, and when it trickles down cheap on a European market, then a red light should have flagged in my brain, but it didn't.
Well, there was a machine on Amazon, the sewing machine that was 138, but it was in the like somebody returned it. It was supposedly was scratched or dented. Um, And I was afraid that there would be missing pieces or that the damage, and you can't return it.
Oh
So that
yeah.
was too small. So I didn't want to go there.
I am making a visual mess here, Debbie. I am on second row and I'm throwing them in like, I don't know, it looks like the teeth of a friend I once had. Like, it looks awful. But hey, maybe in the end it will look okay. There's
And I
definitely
never
something.
bought a die cut like a Big Shot or any of that because I didn't want to buy dies. I didn't. I knew I didn't want to invest in dies. That what I wanted to do was cut stencils. Like I didn't want it for scrapbooking.
I have really enjoyed my Big Shot with a very limited supply of dies. It's just like I knew what I wanted to punch out, which was mostly photo frame mat size things for scrapbooking, so I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have to sit and cut. And I really enjoyed that because for some reason, I don't know if it's the cutter or what, but sometimes your measurements are off when you're doing scrapbooking and you don't get it because you measured right, but then in the cutting process,
It
it's
slides or something sometimes. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I have those cutters like Janet does, and I have well, I used to have the circles and the ovals. I don't think I ever had the squares. I didn't buy them, they were given to me by somebody else. And I have a ruler. The ruler's the only thing I have, but I hardly ever use those cutters. I just used my Fiskars a lot, or
Mm-hmm.
I freehand it because I don't really care enough.
Oh,
Actually, I'm doing. I
I'm
almost went
beginning.
under when I want it to go up.
I'm beginning to run out of wire.
See, I cut a lot intentionally,
Ah, you are so
but I might
clever.
have to do another wire for the second row because it's way more wire than I thought. So I might have
It
to do
is.
another piece for the next two row. The
I think I'm gonna attach my last button because what I got left, they're too big, and I don't
yeah.
like the profile on them. Look, it looks like I don't know. They, I don't really like the profile. I'm surprised how easy this is.
Yeah, I
I
thought it was
thought,
going to be hard to like get them to stay while you were going from button to button,
oh yeah,
but it's
yeah.
not.
No, you can actually let go of your work and it will not disassemble itself. That's it. Now I have to knot or end it. So I'm thinking first we'll insert a pearl. That's always a good idea.
So it took
So
way more wire than I thought.
it does.
Yeah, because
So
I went like 4 times the journal and thought I was being extremely generous.
so what I do I insert a pearl to stop, and then I pull it pretty hard, and then I just continue with this string, but now I know that here I got a stopping point. So I go on the back of the pearl and then I twist the wire around it and make sure that I can cut it and tuck the pointy end that I will
Yeah,
have
like twist
on the
and then
wire
flip.
and push it inside the pearl. And if you need to put a glue dot on it, because I'm telling you, you can really pinch hole through your skin with
Yeah,
these
the
cut
tips of those
ends.
wires can be, you can glue a seed bead on the ends of them sometimes. And I have a bunch of those somewhere in a bag.
But let's see if I can tuck it in under. I was able to. So now I don't have a thing that can scratch your skin. Oh my god. I can't believe we did this, Debbie. Okay, mine is smaller because I'm just on
Well, you
a,
started with the, yeah,
yeah,
smaller.
the smaller. Let's hope that I can still close it. Oh no, not really. I have to give it an extra gusset here. That's okay.
Because of where you put it.
Yeah, oh, I can just,
Yeah,
oh my
do it
god.
that
I'm so
way.
stupid, I can just do it like this.
That
But
looks
this,
really good.
it looks cute, right?
Yeah, I think it needs to be on the edge of something,
Yeah,
obviously, because it is adding bulk.
it does. The way I got this, it looks like velvet ribbon, but it's not. I took flocking powder. First, I laid down a score tape with the size of 1/4 of inch, and it's peeled off the backing so it sticks. And then I put flocking powder on top of this, just like when we are embossing, and then pressed it down with my finger, and then removed the excess, and then it remains this like a velvet ribbon underneath it. Oh, it's nice. I like it. Debbie, this was a good idea.
Well, it was Ingrid's idea. We're
You're
just
like really crazy.
copycat.
Yes, you would go in, you would go back in with a thread carrying the beads and then just twiggle it up and down.
Well, you could throw a seed bead on as you were doing the buttons. That would be pretty.
It would.
If you like were trying to do like mermaid colors or something, or had pearly buttons,
Yeah.
that could be really pretty. You could easily throw a seed bead or two on your wire as you were doing each loop.
I could,
Um,
yeah.
you might lose your eyesight trying to do it.
Now I want to work on the folder, and look, I made shaker pockets.
Oh yeah,
Isn't it fun? You can put in tags behind these,
yeah, I
and
like
then
them with beads in them.
I made this shaker pocket on when you open up the folder. So, but this one got the what's it called, like sequins inside, and this one
Yeah,
got beads, and it gives this funky sound. And then I totally secured it with like metal brads that goes all the way through the pocket assembly to the backside. Because just like glitter and confetti, dropped small pearls on the floor will just be impossible to clean up. So they will show up a year after you drop them.
when I first learned how to make shakers,
Yeah.
every layout had a shake. You know what I mean? Like a shaker here or a shaker. Every time you would learn a new technique, you would
Yes,
see
you
it
put
on
it
the
up.
next three, but you had to kind of move around your book when you
I
would,
know.
so that there wasn't page after page. But I did
Because
sew on some scrapbook pages too with my sewing machine back in the day. I paper pieced and sewed I have to get those out of the garage one day, and I'll show y'all.
Oh, I would love that. Slowly, I think scrapbooking will come back. I mean, it's been on, I don't know, in 2015, that's the last time that I noticed that our shop started or had carried the latest things. Then they suddenly stopped being
Well,
updated
all our
with the.
scrapbook stores closed.
Oh, is that in the same time frame, like around
Well, in
2015?
the last one that I knew of has closed. There was
Oh,
one up in Keller, but I don't know. I don't live. I mean, that's like a 30-minute drive, so I'm not like driving up there to see. It, the only reason I know that it exists is because I was gonna take. I wanted to take a class there with Dina Wakley,
yeah.
and they had offered a class with Dina Wakley, but it was just too expensive, so I didn't do it.
Hmm. Oh, Elaine, she watched the video on Shaker Pockets. They are addictive.
I'm almost to the
But
end of the first row.
it looks fabulous. I like that you got them, like I said, the same size, and then there is like this pattern in the way you have attached them.
Yeah, they're up under. Oh, I went
Yeah.
over. I messed up right here, but I don't care. Funny, I messed up where the eyelets messed up. I have one eyelet that got smashed weird.
There's always that one.
Yeah, that's how you know it's handmade.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Dallas Fort CB said San Antonio doesn't have a scrapbook store in years either, and we live in big cities where if you can't make it,
Yeah.
but you know, oh, that button's. I don't care. That button's a little
But
smaller.
I think it's kind of sad because, yeah, it was just I like to go in there and browse, get inspired, learn about new things. There's always this new thing that you hadn't seen before, like I don't know, clay or
Well, I had
So
a dream, but I just can't. We could. I wanted to open like an open studio, like a literally like an old like part of a grocery store. It'd have to be like we could get it messy, and I wanted to have like tables, like the scrapbook store, like a
yeah.
crop, and then machines that you could use. That you're not
Oh,
going to destroy them, but like you wouldn't have to bring them. You could use them, and I wanted some private rooms where like it could be like you could, if you were an artist and you wanted to do a big canvas with acrylic, that you could rent a studio and come in and paint your painting. You'd
that
have to
would be
bring,
an awesome
like
idea.
it was really just about like the space,
Yeah,
but it's just I'm not willing to step up. Every time we think about it, I'm like, I don't think the economy's right. And now then there's all those twist and paint party places,
yeah.
and
Plus,
that's kind of gone out of style. I mean, people went to them a lot now. They
but I
realize
don't
they could
know
just do the online.
how the rules are in the US, but here in Denmark, if we have to rent a store or some space to do business, the contracts that we are signing are with 5 years notice for terminating the contract.
Oh, see,
And
here's our lease is you just would negotiate a lease with the person
okay,
unless you own the building.
because we got like fixed rules, like you actually pay 9 months down on the table. 6 of them are the deposit, and then 3 months ahead, and then you usually sign a contract that you can get released from 5 years from that day.
See, I
And
had some friends that live off the coast in Texas, down in Freeport, and she has two old houses across from her quilt store,
Mhm.
and we were going to use that space.
Oh,
And
that's
then
perfect.
the three of us could teach classes, and we could offer retreats.
Plus, you
And
can also, when there is a kitchen, don't ever estimate the income from coffee and cake. I'm
yeah,
serious here. I'm really serious.
so, but it's just like I said, was kind of a dream, but now I'm old and cranky and probably not so into it. All right, I'm going to attempt to go up and do some odd size ones here and there.
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
that button didn't want to join because it just ran away.
Debbie, that sounds exactly same setup I used to go to when I took quilting lessons. It was in the back room of the quilt shop in Tulsa. So fun, Eileen wrote. And also so personal, right, Eileen? Elaine, I'm sorry, I keep twisting those two names. I do the same with Dina and Diane.
Okay, now on the second row, I'm finding that it wants to, like it's not it's floppier.
Yup, me too.
But if I attach it with two holes, I think it will secure it up a little more. But I got a kink in the wire.
Oh man, I'm struggling with that extreme long wire.
Yeah, do you see what I meant when I had the really long wire?
Yeah,
And then I got all these kinks in it where, because you're trying, you know how sewing thread will not.
yeah. That's so annoying. But at
Okay.
least here you can unknot it. Um, like when you're sewing or something, it will not pass through
Yeah, it's not going to
your
break.
work. But here at least it just goes through. Um, Some of the holes in these buttons are so big. It makes me think about Disney when the mice is threading the needle and it takes the whole arm through the needle head. I'm using your two holes technique here on the big one with the big buttons because I can feel that they have to be
They
attached
need a little
by
more
using
security.
two eyelet. Um,
But the loop is bigger on the second row, is what I'm finding, that the loop is bigger.
Yeah, and that's when it gets irregular and kind of messy if you're going for symmetry. Because it's easy to misplace a pattern if you're going for a pattern.
Okay, see, this one I'm trying to put on, I'm struggling with. So I'm going to back out. I think where I went up is part of the problem. I don't want to use this.
Phew, okay. I find it very annoying to attach big buttons. I mean, you would think that it would be easy because they take up so much space that you can attach one compared to attach 3 tiny buttons, but they don't play nice.
I am covering up some of the first buttons when I'm putting this. They're overlapping a little.
Hmm?
Mine are like this. I added this purple and this orange, and it kind of covered up this green one
But it looks
that's
cute.
under it, but it doesn't. I mean,
Yeah.
because I went up and under. If I had kept them all the same, even, like side by side, then it probably wouldn't do that. But I don't hate it. Because I'm going to be way more irregular on this row. And just sort of skip some space.
Yeah. You also got some really tiny ones. See that red and blue button? You got
Yeah.
like miniature.
Yeah.
Ooh, I see Sapphire write something like, please don't post this on Twitter or tell the newspaper. Now I want to read whole chat.
Yeah, you definitely, this is a hard one to read. Like, it's hard to read the chat.
Yeah, you're afraid to poke yourself in the eye with the metal wire if you let go, you know? I'm just so lucky that the cat is not on the table next to me because she
Oh,
would
Tay
be
Tay is not here.
chasing that wire, I'm telling you. We bought an office chair today.
Oh,
And it arrived.
I need to do that.
Oh, it arrived in this giant box. So we made a hotel with 2 floors for a cat and an entrance. You know, we just cut with
Yeah.
a knife. Oh, she loves stuffs like that. So she's in box cat heaven at the moment. She's probably gonna spend the night in that big box.
Yeah, the second row is definitely giving me problems. But
And
again, it's because I went up, under, up, under. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So it's not uniform
but
height.
I also feel that if you start thinking about your next button and your next move, you get frustrated. So it's one of those things where you just have to let go. You know, almost just mechanically, just take one button at a time.
Yeah, and sometimes like you got to back up and go, well, that move did not work.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna punt and do it differently. Oh, that worked better. My green button was not complying. And I'm kind of giving myself permission to like skip around. Like I skipped up 2 or 3 buttons. To keep it I want to keep this one really irregular.
I actually think that the irregular look looks cuter.
Yeah, because it's more random.
I want this arrow to be on the tip of my flat. I hope I will manage to place it like this. That could be awesome. Let's see if it works. Of course the hole is in the opposite direction. Oh, so maybe if I do like this to start with. I'm sorry, I just bumped into the camera.
Because my second little buttons are covering up, which it gives them a support. There's a button under them.
Yeah.
They're fitting in those buttons that are under. They're tucked, like, and somehow I have kind of a loop loose. So you got to watch that too. Like you do when you're sewing. Like
oh, yeah.
I didn't have it. I thought it was taut. So now I'm having to come back and backtrack a little, which is easier with thread than it is with wire.
Yeah. But it makes you think that it's easier to lay down the biggest buttons first and then having smaller on top of them, because then you can also control when you pull the metal string that you don't get loops.
And I just grabbed my wire tools because I'm trying to pull.
Oh, dang it.
And when in doubt, come back out.
Oh.
Væsken ligger den her. Nå,
Ja, det gør den, ja.
Okay.
I'm gonna cheat with some glue right here because I want this bottom to lay like an arrow. So I'm just gonna get my score tape. I think I'm gonna use the red tape. That's also an option, Debbie, that you can glue the bottoms in place.
And then wire, yeah.
Yeah. If you have like a backing that the tape will stick to, of course. I'm using the red sticky tape double-sided because I find that the glue is more stronger than on the regular score tape. And especially because this is
red.
plastic. Yeah. And you know, it loves plastic surfaces. So. Oh, I can't get the backing of the red tape. I need a tool. Hang on.
All right, I'm going to stop and check chat and see if there's anything we missed. Now I'm going to skip over. Try a button with just two.
Oh, I'm back. I found it. While I was looking, I was thinking, why don't I just give it a glob of tacky glue instead of fighting this backing? This is where I really can feel that I need glasses.
Yeah, well, I'm wearing cheaters, you know, I don't see anything close up.
Oh man, this is not working. I'm going in with liquid glue.
And making sure you don't go down the same hole that you came up on the second row is hard because it's,
Yeah.
well, I can turn another light on. That might help me. I don't have one of my lights that I typically have on. That could be part of the problem. Is it might help if I.
But I find that the eyelets, we are using the smallest eyelet, are the perfect size for this.
Yeah, that's not the, well, I'm not even because I'm on that second row.
Yeah.
I'm not on the eyelets.
But that was a good call on eyelet size right there
Well,
because
because
it's
I knew it
easier.
would take the abuse more.
Yeah.
But like, see this, I've got a kink in the wire
Oh.
because my wires.
I can't glue this. I'm just gonna leave this arrow bottom. It won't glue. It's also because the, what's it called? The button is hollow. So the glue have a very tiny place to attach.
There we go.
I think
And
I
sometimes you just
will.
have to be rough with it.
Yeah.
Like I just had to manhandle the wire, but support it with my hand and then pull the wire.
I'm gonna try and fill up the hole in the hollow space in the bottom with foam tape. Oh my god, it's gonna look so ugly. No, I'm not doing it. It will be visual. I'm gonna pass this and move on.
Yeah, almost all these second buttons are covering up the ones that are under. But like I said, if I hadn't done the first row the way I did that, I don't think that would have been the case.
But it would be impossible to start with the bottoms hanging out on the last row and then work inwards.
But I could have kept them. I could have kept them side by side and not on top of each other when I was making my first row choice.
Oh, yeah, then it wouldn't be so bulky either.
Well, it wouldn't. But like now, I'm just getting buttons on top of.
Gel Lena, perhaps apply with a toothpick or similar. Oh, yeah, Safia. I got glossy accents. That'll do the trick. I'll do that before I go to bed. Glossy accent the whole bottom.
The end of the wire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
See,
a
I don't
good
like the
one,
way this one
Safia.
is seated, so I'm just going to back out and try it again. Because somehow I made a choice that isn't. I went up, down when I should have not, somehow.
And it's hard to go backwards. I mean, it's easier to peel up if you are sewing. I don't find that it's hard to the hand and the skin to work with the metal wire at all.
No.
One could imagine that it would scratch somehow.
But if you don't like what you have, you can back it out. And I'm gonna try to straighten my wire.
Hey, good luck, baby.
Okay, I'm gonna try this.
This is almost also like anger management because you stretch and pull and twist and turn. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm constantly out of frame.
I think I'm still in.
You got
You're
a good
kind of
camera angle.
wrestling with the wire and the button.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something I would typically say, oh yeah, stream it. It's kind of why Jean doesn't want to stream knitting or crochet. Well, it's hard to
Yeah,
stream sewing because your hand is covering up the work.
exactly. And you feel that it's a bit tedious for the viewers, so I hope
Yeah.
that people in chat are kind of entertained somehow. Remind me to show my pearl decorated Ingrid Dickius edge. That was a long one. What I wanted to say is that I inspired by the same woman, Ingrid Dickius.
Dikers? Yeah,
Dikers?
I think.
I decorated with wood veneer and eyelets and pearls, the whole 9 yards.
I am gonna make it to the end of this, and this is gonna be it. I have enough wire.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make, because I didn't do it's just a lot of little buttons here and there is what I'm adding in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not putting one every row. It did cover up some of my other buttons, but they lovely.
Oh, it's good. Joycey says that she's entertained. So that's good.
This almost smacks of slow stitch type stuff, doesn't it, Joycey?
They're all waiting for us to explode in cuss words.
Well, we all want paint dry, so. We'll watch swatching.
Yeah.
And I am
so
like holding on to it and giving it a really good tug to get my wire back through it sometimes. Because it's because I have loops back here from where I'm skipping over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm finding if I'm not pulling it tight enough. Oh, sorry.
Thanks God for the. Imagine if you didn't have the idea of the eyelets, then you couldn't pull and tug as much.
Yeah, but I don't think she had eyelets.
No, I don't. She just had like, I don't know. Maybe she had an extra chipboard paper underneath.
I think it was heavier weight.
Yeah. Okay, the big ones are down now. I am reached the part where I have to assemble the small cute ones. Oh man, so many.
With the different colored buttons, it is hard to make, like you're making choices.
Yeah.
It's like
Oops.
Okay.
I want to do this with round pearls. I think that's more pliable.
Well, I do think the one that I showed you that she had just like, if you just did the row of eyelets and you did wire, bead through the eyelet, wire, bead through the eyelet, that was
Yeah.
just down the side. That was a real simple. Nice,
Yes.
Sophia.
Good night, Sophia. But I think that the issue with the buttons is that they have to lay flat, where pearls, they can go everywhere. Like, they don't have a special direction to turn or something.
But I definitely think that it's, you're going to end up possibly tucking some in just by the nature of,
Yeah.
and I didn't study her picture to see how she really threaded them.
Me either, but I noticed that she had, like, let's say 2 row of
It
buttons, and
looked
it
like
looked,
3 rows on one of them.
yeah, yeah, the red one was like 3 rows, and it looked like she used not so many buttons as I have used on Teresa's pamphlet holder.
And I'm just using up my extra wire now. And adding some of those even smaller buttons.
Yeah, they're so cute. Look, I just attached this one. Yours blue one is so cute. I like when you can attach them on top of the edge of another button without it
Yeah.
looking crazy. I have so many buttons. I should try doing this to a journal, CB writes. Yes. CB, it feels good to really, use your your stash. I have had these buttons, I think, at least 6 years or something.
Because the only thing I do with them is occasionally glue them on a layout, like as a accent.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's annoying because it makes bulk inside of a journal, so it's
Well,
very
yeah,
rare.
typically, and then it makes, for me, it makes it more difficult for the customer to frame it.
Yeah. Oh
Because
yeah, you have to think of that too, yeah.
then I know that it's gonna be harder for them to frame.
It's also a shame that they got such a high profile when they're, you know, imagine if they could make like fake slim buttons for crafting. That's not so
Well, I
fat.
did have at one time. I had a sticker that was buttons and a sticker that was a zipper that I
Oh,
did really
cool.
like.
Oh, darn it. Once again, I am forgetting about dropping in the bead. God, I'm so stupid. It's okay. I'll have to do this one more time and then remember the bead. I really would like to see how it looks with beads. Maybe I can still manage. Wait a second, I'm gonna go backwards now in my work and try assemble the beads.
Now I'm trying, as I'm winging it more, I'm having to like sometimes undo because like it doesn't lay the way I think it's gonna lay.
Yeah. Cass just wrote that Ingrid uses 2 rows and they don't overlap. Oof.
Yeah, I know she did not overlap her. I think I'm gonna come over here and come up under.
Put a bunch on and scan them.
Yeah, you could.
Kathy wrote that. Or break out the glue gun.
I'm at the
But
end of my wire, so I'm like, you know how when your thread's too short?
Yeah. I find, and some people may shake their heads on this one, the more you struggled with something, the happier you get with it when it's done. So things like this, I can imagine I'm actually going to enjoy when it's made and done. Because I know that it wasn't just wham bam and then finished.
This little button is giving me fits. Ooh, I kind of like that maybe.
E600, Lena, it will hold better. Oh yeah, because it's plastic. Yeah. Lena, you are brave working on an open box of beads next to you. I know. I know. I was thinking about, I'm asking for trouble right there. Oh man. I don't know if you, what are they called? It's like a plastic container that fits with your IKEA kitchen drawers, and they're really tall. And then because I'm a freak, I can fill it up. I have to fill it up, So, and it contains 2 boxes of rice, loose rice that you can boil. And then I dropped that out of my hands on my kitchen floor. I kid you not. It just spread out like, like crazy. And then because something was boiling, I wasn't able to vacuum clean it up immediately. So I had to walk in it, and control the stove before I could get the vacuum cleaner. I really hated life right there, I'm telling you. And I hated myself for feeling that I have to fill up all the containers. Because normally there would only have been like 1 bag of rice in there. Yes, eek. It sounded funny to vacuum clean that one. Look, I broke up the patterns with round pearls. Where those? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm flipping the camera. There we go.
I'm trying to finish mine up, so let me. I'm gonna move everything. I'm gonna get these. Okay, I'm gonna start throwing buttons on the floor. If I don't move them, as I'm struggling with the journal, I can feel it hitting buttons, and I don't want to knock it on the floor. I just clean the floor.
I think I want to show my edged journal. If it's okay, Debbie.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I'm just gonna take, I've just got a little tail of a wire and I brought it up to the back. And I'm gonna put Lena large while I fight with
Okay.
it to wrap it, okay?
Yep.
I never can.
As long as you don't kick me out. So,
I don't know how
well,
to.
it's okay. I can. This is good because this is the section. It's waterfront pages, waterfall pages. So it means that I had cut. So it's having this effect when you flip on it, and it's inspired by Ingrid Dickers. Her name is right there. Dijkers. Dikers. And basically, it's so simple. It's scrap paper that I stapled down with the mini attacher, and then I went over with, you could make with a Posca pen, but I think here I used maybe a new color too that I gave a little touch with a water brush. And here I just took scrapbook paper and used a punch. And this is some washi tape that I was gifted from CB. And here I glued down some lace. And then on top of it, I used metal thread to put in this pattern of small beads. And I didn't pre-punch any holes at all. The metal thread was so sharp that it went right through the pattern paper with no stress at all. And here I just had a same build up with just pattern paper stapled on because I like the repetitive pattern of the scallop edges. And bye bye CB. And here I decorated the edge of lace by using normal thread and then beads, and it kind of feels nice to touch. So it was a Peter to do this. There's a ton of work in this. I don't know if I would do it again, but if you do it, you should make this on some lace that got some more pointed pattern, like peaks coming at the end, because here it just seems like one long strip of pearls, but it would be nice if I thought, because can you see how bumpy the edge is on the lace? I thought that it would add an extra dimension with a pearl in the end, but it kind of drowns. So if I have to do this again, I would pick another kind of lace. Here I just took embroidery thread, and you know, you can divide them up into 4 tiny threads. Here I just divided them up into 2. There's 2 strings in one, so it's semi-thick. And then I just cross-stitched. And that was fun, you know, to make that section, right? So I took it to town, I'm telling you. On this here, I got like giant chunky pearls on this border that's made on top of pattern paper. But because I'm using the waterfront pages, the bulk is not that bad. I can still close the book and don't feel that I get an alligator mouth. And I am surprised about that because this is what we need. Here I went crazy with brads. Oh, I have to show first how it flips. Flips like this, 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 and then this is the back page. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 page decoration right here. Here I just took some brads to charm it up, and then these are pearls, and this is stitches with embroidery thread, and this is what we need glued down. It looks so cool to have that in a book. And then on top of the edge I just sewed in some pearls. here I found these flat pearls that are like long, you know, like a cylinder, and I cannot describe how pleasing it is to look at it. So definitely, I think they're because they're so intricate. You can see that there are some nice things decorated on these pearls already. I really think that this page is special for me because I like the edge of it. Bye bye, Joan. And here I actually attached a chain. In a lot of the sets that you can buy, they give you these chains, and they're very easy to cut up and disassemble with a tool like this. So I basically just took that chain and attached it, and it has this nice effect when you're flipping your page. I love it a lot. I actually think that this is one of the last ones where I didn't go that crazy. Just pattern paper and then some pearls. Yeah, I actually think that this is it. I don't think that I have... Oh, I got one more section I can see. Okay, this one is a little bit crazy. I saw that Ingrid, she used punched out circles to make a scalloped edge. So I wanted to try that. So I used the scallops here, and then I tried to incorporate the scallops on the other side too, to give it some symmetry. But basically it's just the same I'm doing, just with different pattern papers, different colors. So it it's a little bit, yeah. Here I just took the cutout tags from a paper pad and then use eyelets on one side and then these on the other side, and it was so simple and easy to do because there's less decoration things in these where you utilize the small cutouts from paper pads. And here I took a paper pad and made a slit, so I have a pocket on my border decoration. So, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's about it. But that's how I jazzed up this book with Ingrid Dykes borders. And just imagine how many times I did it. Were like 5 or 4 times. And look at the slim profile. I'm really surprised about that, because when you're starting up a project like that, you're thinking, I've got to ruin my book and make it like really fluffy. But for some oddball reason, I have been lucky with the way that it's constructed. And here, these are wood veneer hearts, and you can see how the way that they bulk out just fits perfectly with the opposite page design. So also these pearls down here, instead of having 2 rows on top of each other, I have them laying next to each other, so they only take out the bulk height of 1 row of pearls. So that was my thought process while I was doing these things. So thank you. I'm glad that Kathy Burke introduced me to Ingrid and showed me.
Right. Just repeating something like that is a neat, like the idea that every page is going to have a border, something down the side, can make you keep the rest of it simpler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. Yes.
and or the idea that maybe even this page I intentionally shorten so that this page is maybe a 3/4, but creates a border. You know what I mean? Like.
Yes.
Like peak, like almost like windows do. But you know what I was thinking, Lena? This to put a window in this and wire some buttons or beads like Paula did, or like like Colleen did with the transparency, would look cool with this on the edge. If you had then like, if I thought about it, I probably would have put like a skinny rectangle over here maybe. And wired just some smaller buttons that would have peeked through to this layout. But I'm
That
happy
would have
with
been
what I
cool.
ended up with.
Oh yeah, you should be proud,
And
Tim.
then
That's really
and
beautiful.
I was concerned about the inside when I started because the eyelets on the inside were kind of ugly. But it actually, you have a lot of the wire. You see a lot of
Mm-hmm.
wire. And all I did was twist. You can see right here if it'll focus.
Yeah.
And I twisted and I just sort of tucked it. And then I'll probably stick a little glue. I'm probably going to glue a little seed bead on
Mm-hmm.
that later. Just take some of the glitter glue and just pop a little seed bead and let it rest right there. I
Yeah.
wish I'd thought about seed beads and put some, it would have been cool to have some seed beads on this back end of this wire. Not necessarily even visible from the top, but
I can
visible on the
follow.
inside. That would have been cool.
But I think if I was to decorate the backside here, I would utilize the beautiful symmetry of the holes. So I would actually do pearls in between here to
Yeah.
bring some structure back so that there is some sort of structural linear thing so it doesn't look so confusing.
Right. And we didn't really know like where we were going or what we were doing,
No.
you know? So
No.
now knowing what it would look like on the inside, because I wasn't like thinking, but yeah, I had to skip on the second row and the third row, I would skip over more. And I almost think
Hmm.
I would throw some seed beads, like when you came up into the inside of the journal, throw
Yeah.
some seed beads, then come back up to the front and do a button. And I could have had like seed beads on each of these
Yeah.
long lengths of wire. And I think that would have been really pretty.
I also think
You
that if you
could.
got a button style like this, apparently got a front and a back side,
Yeah.
that you could with the ease make the front be the back side so that you know it's going to be covered up anyway, but with a lot of other buttons that has a front side. So then you would have like on the flip side a nice front of all your beads, so it's not so visual that it's the back side.
And some of these buttons want to flip up and stuff. You could use a little, like here and there, I could put a little glue to secure them, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Or some sort of resin, like Art Deco glaze or something. I don't know. I just think it would look prettier, not touched. Like like you just dropped a bunch of fresh beads and buttons on the edge.
Well, I have like little crevices that you could like glue seed beads in. But Joycey said you could take seed beads and thread and
Oh
stitch
yeah. Mm-hmm.
some beads in there easily, you know.
Dad says, love both of your books. Well done. Yay! Thank you, Dad. Oh, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
fun. Oh,
fun.
Tay-Tay's here to visit. You want to come up and visit? You can.
Oh,
She's giving me the pokey paw.
oh, the claw. That
Yeah,
one
she
claw.
has one paw that has a pokey nail,
Yeah.
and she pokes you in the side.
Yep.
Thank you, Sherry, and hi, Sherry. And hi,
But I
Candy
think
and Nicole, and Gail, anybody that came in that we missed.
yeah, we
It's
missed
hard
a
when
lot.
you kind
I'm
of have
sorry.
to,
Hi,
and
Sarah.
you have to have your head down when you're doing that second row. It definitely took more. Now, this will lighten up and brighten
Mm-hmm.
up because this is just my first layer. I just wanted to do the buttons, and that will help me dictate what I paint on it. But I'm not going to paint the cover till I finish the inside. That way, if I get it messy,
Mm-hmm.
like the world won't come to an end.
No, that's clever. So,
So I haven't done anything inside since I streamed last.
I love your comic book series. Oh my god. What are you on number 5 now?
I'm on number 4. Well, 3 I
Number 4?
skipped. To be honest, 3 I skipped. It's just got some doodles, and I decided I really don't like doodling. Like, I really don't like doodling.
You're thinking
And I
about the
wanted to
3.
do this, but those doodles were in black marker, so I knew that they would show up. So because I didn't want to, I wanted this layer to stay. So I didn't want to come in with gesso or anything. And well, Sharpie comes through gesso and everything.
Yeah, it
So,
does. And it changed color and everything.
yeah, but I'm really liking, if I have the stuff, I'm liking translating a journal page into the bag. I think that's been fun stuff.
Yeah.
I
That
did
was
go
cool.
to the Dollar Tree and get some baskets like Jersey so I could get a little.
Mhm.
But now
I was
Tay
amazed that you could recall what steps you did because it's so hard to replicate something that you have done. I
yeah,
mean, it very rarely
it's like
succeeds for
dissecting
me.
what you did
Yes,
back down
exactly.
to the original layer.
So,
That's my cat, Tay Tay. It's one of 3. She's the one that Shauna shows all the time. That Shauna says she's her cat. That'll bring
ah,
Shauna will come out if she's lurking because I'm talking about Tay Tay. She'll be like, "No, that's my cat."
Tay Tay,
And
the
she has a
longer
brother
thief.
named Gibson, and then we
Hmm.
have another cat named Fat Fanny who has a bad paw,
Fat Fanny.
but she's
That
spelled
reminds me
P-H-A.
of the Queen song.
Oh, it's spelled P-H-A-T like Fat Farm Clothing. Remember
Oh, okay.
when that was popular?
I don't know what you're talking about. It must be some American show.
Yeah, there was a clothing line when they first did like the saggy pants and the hip hop type clothing, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
was Fat PHAT, and it was a slang for like something that was
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
like hip, but it didn't mean like fat like obese.
No.
But Fanny is fat like obese, and that's why it's funny.
Yes, it is.
She has a
So,
bad paw, doesn't she, Taylor?
oh,
Say,
I
I'm a
love
mean
cats.
girl. Say, I'm a mean girl. I'm the mean girl in the family.
I saw that Bob posted this picture of all 3 cats,
They never
hanging
lay
around.
together.
Yeah.
She, the other night, I forget, Gibson was just playing with a fishing rod that Bob has with like a cat toy that's a fishing rod. And
Yeah.
Gibson, her brother, was playing it. And she just came up from another room, whacked the heck out of him, made him leave, and then went and lay down like, ha, who's boss
She
now?
has had it with him.
And she wasn't even she didn't want to play with it. She just didn't want him getting anybody's attention.
Oh yeah, they are really jealous like that.
They
Yeah.
boss the boy cat around bad. The 2 girls are the bosses, but they don't like have the same territory.
That is so funny.
Gibson's he's a lover, isn't he? Bubba's the lover. You're a mean girl. She loves me. She
I
loves snacks
often
and
see Tay
jams.
Tay and not the others when you stream.
Yeah, well,
So,
Gibson won't come in
yeah.
here. She doesn't let anybody come in here.
It's funny.
Yeah, she'll get mad if he like lays by me or tries to get
Cats
up
are
and get it.
so jealous.
Yeah.
Our cat
She's
is
in here
jealous
rubbing her
at
face
our.
on all these new baskets because they don't have cat scent on them.
Oh, my cat gets jealous on my son. For instance, if the 2 of them, she often sleeps in his bed with him. and then they get up at the same time, and then it's very important that I feed her first. Like she really keeps a count, and if I do something that kind of emulate that I'm serving my son first, she can bite me underneath on the back of my leg. You got
Yeah.
that muscle. She just bites me, and I really think it's provocative, like I'm some sort of servant, and I picked him instead of her. It's really mean.
These are all dry now. The ones that we did at the beginning of the stream.
Hmm.
All that's dry to the touch. I'm just going to tear this up and use this as
Yeah,
collage stuff in my journal.
they will resist watercolor,
Yeah.
so it's fun to know. They would actually resist a lot of things like neo colors, also neo twos,
Yeah.
Tombos, almost any water soluble thing. It's fun.
All right. Well, I'm going to let
Mm?
everybody go because it's dinner time here. We got to go figure out what is for dinner. I think I'm going to make we're going to get food.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, Debbie, and
Thank
thanks
you. It
for.
was fun.
It really was.
I don't know I don't know that I'll be buttoning a whole lot. I did it. I loved it. It's on one journal. I don't think I would. I'm going to start putting buttons on everything or beads.
Okay.
But it was fun to do. You know what I mean? Like I like it
Yes.
as an accent.
Yeah. I like that tedious, repetitive things. It's like
Yeah, I
I'm
think it's something
zoning
that
out when
would
I'm
be
doing it.
good to do like you're watching like if you had the beads and stuff or the buttons in a bowl next to you while you were
Yes.
watching TV.
Yeah. So, but thanks everybody in chat also for coming today
Yep.
and watch us.
I will put Ingrid's channel. Lena's channel's in the top of the chat, but I'll put Lena and Ingrid's channel in the description once this renders and I can go in and get
Yeah.
it to let me edit
Mhm.
it in the thing, and I'll put those on there later so that if somebody is watching the recording, they can go check out Lena's channel,
Oh,
and you can
thank
go
you.
check out Ingrid has some videos too, I believe.
Yep.
And you
So,
can see Ingrid, I did put the post for her Facebook post is up above in the chat too. And you can click on that. And
mhm.
I think her Facebook is public or you can ask to join. She needs to start a group.
Yes, she does. Yeah. She's got so many different and yet similar journal ideas that you're thinking, oh, why didn't I think about that? You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like
her
it seems
tape, her
doable.
roll things are so pretty.
It is, yeah, yeah. And a lot of the things she's doing, I'm not intimidated by it. I can sort of see myself trying it out.
Hmm.
Um, so worth looking at, yeah.
I did want to say that I do start uh, training school next week on Tuesday. I will still stream Tuesday, but I'll have to change my time. Let me see what it said training was.
Hmm.
I think it's, I'll have to open it up. I'm trying to see what the time, like when they have it, if it's 9 to 4 or 8 to 3. They have us going till 4. So it will probably, even though I'm not traveling, it'll probably be around 5 Eastern when I stream on
Hmm.
Tuesday and Friday. Now, I'm going to shoot for 5 Eastern. Online at home, we're on the Zoom like all day, going from Zoom to Zoom. So
Wow.
starting next Tuesday and and Friday, it will be, I'll start at 5 Eastern. Just well, actually, it needs to be 5:30 Eastern because I need to give myself some time.
Yeah, also to eat something.
Yeah, to grab something to eat, go to the
Yeah.
restroom, that kind of stuff.
But what a relief that you are not forced to actually be
Not
in the
yet.
school. Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, it's still the 28th of September, and they're arguing back and forth about that.
Ah,
Well, and in the morning, just kind of sit there. But in the afternoon, unfortunately, I'm running the meetings.
mhm.
But it'd be more of an attitude adjustment. I don't know, like when we did the online in the spring, I would make videos and post them and answer questions because kids didn't show up to the live. But I think they're going to make us try to do a live for every one of our classes, like real time.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what I'm going to do online. Like, that's 90-minute lives.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
hoping that they'll allow us to come in and do like a 30-minute live lesson, take attendance and do like a 30-minute live lesson, and then get the kids doing their assignment. Where we're available if they have questions,
yeah.
but I can't
Oh,
see, I don't stand in front of them for 90 minutes in the classroom.
no.
And they need to like get out of the Zoom and go do the assignments kind of thing. So I don't know, but I'm trying not to worry about it, and we'll find out more next week in the meetings. So I may have a bad attitude
You're so
because they don't
exclusive.
ask us. They don't ask us
No.
what we think would work.
And that's the most
And that's
crazy
the
part.
irritating part when
Yeah.
people that do not do or have not done what we're doing for a long time are making decisions and they haven't been in a classroom. And if they maybe were, and some principals and superintendent people, well, there's some people on the board never taught. And
Mhm.
government people have never been in a classroom other than long ago when they were students. That's what's frustrating is that they don't consult me. How would kids social distance in your room? What could that look like? What are the options? What are the solutions possibly? How could why don't they get together a group of people on a Zoom and get our ideas? But they don't ask us, they just tell us. And
Because
that's kind of,
my
but that's
attitude is
education.
that okay, it's good to have distance between one another, but you still cannot get around the fact that in the air, 3 hours
Yeah.
after you left the room, there are something
Well, and
floating
my
in the
other thing
air.
is when we're in the classroom, like in a regular, they're working together.
Yeah.
They're working in small groups and helping each other. Well, if they can't work at the same table and work together, you're not getting the benefit of cooperative learning.
No.
So if they're going to work independently 100% on their own, why do they physically need to be in the building? It's babysitting.
I think
Yes,
you're right.
Janet, it
Yeah.
turned out really, really cool.
Yes.
In the end, it's different than Lena's is more like Ingrid's than mine is.
I'm still working on this one. It needs to have the tiny buttons on, but I managed to
But
mix
I
it up
like
with
it.
pearls.
Yeah.
So
I
I
like to
like the
mix it
pearl
but
part.
the beads.
Yeah. And the shaker pockets too. Crazy. Oh, you got a glare. So, but thanks for having me, Debbie.
Thank you.
Yes, I think I'll sign out and
Yeah, I'm
bye
gonna
bye
go
to
too.
yeah.
And We'll see y'all. Mary will be on. Well, I know Brooke was on. I don't know if she's still on. There was Creepy Baby, so you can go watch that recording. And Mary is probably going to be on tonight too. Mary
Yep.
Altea. So I'll see y'all
Okay.
around. Oh, and Brooke. I mean, not Brooke, but Beth Schuler is probably on too
Mm-hmm.
tonight or tomorrow. All right.
Yep.
All
Okay.
right. Well,
Yeah. Bye bye.